It's awful hot out here, but it's a lovely day on the lake.
It's a little warm.
It's a little warm. You're wearing jeans.
Well, I was told to wear jeans a few weeks ago, so here we go.
I'm wearing shorts. We are at another stop here on the Thunder and Lightning Summer Catfish Tour, brought to you by Superior Catfish. If you couldn't tell, we're on a lake. It's Lake Tiak-O'Khata here in
Louisville, Mississippi.
Winston County, and we are excited. We've got a great day planned for ourselves today. Aside from eating some delicious catfish, we're going to talk to our good friend Wendell Giesbrecht. I hope I got that right. He's with Superior Catfish. He eats catfish all day, every day. What a dream job, right? We'll tell you about that. Luke White from the restaurant will be here, and our good friend Bart Gregory's going to come in. We're going to talk some MSU football, MSU baseball with him, plus a whole lot more. Going to be a great day out here on the lake. Will I throw Robbie in? I don't know. He's wearing jeans. Oh, well, if I do, we're going to be safe about it.
We're going to be quacking up today, Brad.
That was awful. This is Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian Haydad and Robbie Falk here with you on the Thunder and Lightning Catfish Tour. Superior Catfish is our presenting sponsor. We are at the incredible venue of Lake Tiak-O'Khata in Robbie Falk's hometown of Louisville, Mississippi. What?
No.
You're not from here.
You're from Choctaw County.
No, I was raised in
Where do you live
Louisville.
now? Where was your house growing up? Was it Winston County or Choctaw County?
It was Winston County.
It was.
Dirty,
It was
right off the...
I was just trying to throw you off a little bit.
And we are joined by our good friend Bart Gregory, who is a man. By the way, we had a rumblings. You know about the rumblings. We do a weekly.
I do.
Back. So somebody sent us a tweet, and this is what they said. I was in Noxapater the other day. Shout out to Bart Gregory. And I was just like,
What a slap in the
what
face
a slap
to this
in the
man.
face.
That's okay. And so, listen, I do listen to you do your show.
I appreciate that.
I do.
I listen to your
Normally.
show.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you. Thank you.
I listen to every single
Well, why,
show.
if you listen to our show and I listen to your show, why do we never do shows together?
This is a great question.
The forbidden door is going to be open here.
I actually, let me tell you this. When I listen to you guys, it's usually, I got some of them DeWalt headphones.
Yeah.
And I'm out on the tractor. And I'm bush hogging and listening to you guys.
I want to tell you, I know two other people that do the same thing. They were like, when I'm doing lawn work, that is Thunder and Lightning time.
Yeah, that's my time.
So
on the tractor.
In case you don't know, Bart hosts what is easily the second best Mississippi State podcast, Out of Left Field with our friend Charlie Winfield. I wanted to ask you about that because you work with the Bulldog Club.
Yep.
And Charlie works with the Bulldog Initiative.
Right.
You guys kind of competing right now for those same dollars.
No, not at all.
Okay,
And-
so talk us through what the Bulldog Club and the Bulldog Initiative, how do they coexist?
Well, they coexist. Of course, the Bulldog Club is self-explanatory. And I've been working with the Bulldog Club now 20 years, which is amazing. And now you look at
You held a job for 20 years. I'm amazed.
It's amazing. It's
I really am.
The way that I can get new people to buy into the thought process of Bart's amazing. And so the Bulldog Initiative is, of course, that's one of the big things now in college athletics is NIL. And I think if you talk to Zach Selman on our Road Dogs tour, if you talk to anyone associated with Mississippi State, you do understand the importance now in today's world of NIL. And that's one of the things about Mississippi State. I mean, we play in the best league in the country. I mean, if you're in the travel ball, we're playing in the elite circuit. I mean, we're not playing in AA now. We're playing in the big boys. And one of the things when you look around the country, if you're an athlete, you know that if you go to Mississippi State, you're going to have opportunities from an NIL standpoint. And so it does work together somewhat. It is separate. Yes, we are going to have to continue to raise money and better our facilities with the Bulldog Club, but also realize that the Bulldog Initiative is very important as well.
That was as political an answer as he could have given.
This guy's politicking, man.
He's already at it. So,
is there a future in which the Bulldog Club and the NIL can really work together, do you think?
I think a lot of that is determined by the legislation that's going to come.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about the NCAA. You saw from the IRS a couple of weeks ago in the Wall Street Journal when they were talking about 501c3s and how that's going to operate as far as NIL dollars. I think that's one of the things right now is we're in uncharted territory and nobody really knows all the answers. You just have to be able to pivot quickly. And the schools that have had success are the schools that have pivoted quickly. And that's one of the great things about Charlie. And I'm not talking good about him because he's one of my best friends. But, I mean, Charlie from the start of this deal Charlie's a lot smarter guy than I am. And I'll admit that.
Yeah.
And the way that he's gone about structuring the NIL of the Bulldog Initiative and things of that nature, the decisions that he has made just from an organizational standpoint is better than a lot of other places.
You're working with the Bulldog Club. When we talk to fans and we see fans on social media and on Message Sports, it feels like there's a lot of excitement for Mississippi State sports, for Zach Arnett's first year. Obviously, what's going on with recruiting has everybody's attention right now. You know, when we talk about season tickets and we talk about people making donations to the Bulldog Club, when you talk to people, are you getting that same vibe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And listen, I love Mike Leach to death. He was a great conversationalist, great to be around. And you always, I mean, our fan base went through something over the last 7 months that is unprecedented, that no other fan base has had to go through. And our people love Mike Leach. Mike Leach was great for Mississippi State, but then you look at Zach Arnett, and I joke with Zach all the time. I've never met –
You joke with Zach Arnett?
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know he was capable of joking.
Oh, yeah. The thing about Zach is I don't think I've ever met a non-Mississippian that is more Mississippi than Zach Arnett.
He fits.
Yeah.
He fits
And he
good.
really does. And one of the great things about Zach and, you know, being around – you guys have done this. You've been around a lot of really good coaches. You've been around a lot of average coaches, and you've been around probably a couple that ain't very good. But one of the things that stands out to me about Zach Arnett that puts him in the category that I think he's got a chance to be really special as a coach is he asks questions. And he asks a lot of questions. I mean, if he came in here today, he's going to be asking Luke White about the water here and about the water levels and about the dam. He asks a lot of questions and genuinely cares about the answer. And two, he is as you know, as he makes fun of you, he makes fun of me.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that
There's a term for that. I don't think we can say it on the air.
no, is very intense. He is a very intense guy, but he's a very smart, cerebral guy. And so I'm excited about what he's doing. And from a recruiting standpoint, he's really he's hit the ground running pretty hard. Yeah. But one of the things about Mike Leach that people really didn't know is how intense the practices were and how he conducted his off season. The strength staff is still in place. They're conducting practices pretty much the same way they always have. And to win at Mississippi State, you got to be a little bit different. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball, women's basketball. You got to be a little bit more blue collar. You got to have an edge to you. And that's one of the things I really like about our program is we really have a blue collar edge to our football program.
Zach Arnett's a big Southern rock guy too.
Yes, he is. He is.
He's a Molly Hatchet, Allman Brothers.
He is.
Leonard Skinner. He's into that kind of stuff.
And can quote you the lyrics.
Yeah,
which is pretty phenomenal.
Not what I was expecting out of Zach Arnett because there is a time whenever you talk to coaches away from the practice field. We had some conversations with Dan Mullen off the record and stuff like that, and you really get to know who they are. Zach Arnett kind of surprised me with his personality when the mics are turned off.
And what he knows about things other than football.
Yeah.
And that was the thing about Mike Leach that was pretty cool. And Dan, to be honest with you. Those guys were kind of astute on things other than football.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned blue collar. I think that's what made men's basketball so enjoyable this year. Because they just grinded. I mean, we grind has become a word at Mississippi State, Anthony Dixon, and we've sort of embraced that. But that team grinded for every ounce of victory that it got out of that season. And I think that's why fans were so quick to come back to the hump last year.
And how much fun was that?
It was,
I mean,
you forgot how fun men's basketball was.
And you look back when Rick had a lot of success. Rick Stansberry had a lot of success at State. It was guys like Brandon Vincent, Michael Goller, and guys on the defensive end. Hey, Timmy Bowers would lock you up. Derek Zimmerman would lock you up. And the excitement of the crowd comes with effort defensively. I mean, there was times in that early 2000s we couldn't shoot a lick at times. Mm-hmm. But, man, we would get after you defensively. And this past year, man, I think of Cam Matthews. I think Brandon Vincent, man, you put him at the top of that snake, and, I mean, just get after it. And I love that, man.
Everybody's been looking for that Brandon Vincent, too, type of player.
Yeah, since Brandon
04.
Vincent left, there's always been he could be another Brandon Vincent. And this is not a guy. That's not a guy that averaged 25 points a game. That's not a guy that was out there, filling up the basket. He just played defense and rebounded, but he was such a key player.
How would you think if you're Brandon Vincent right now, living over in Georgia, and knowing that they're still talking about me at Mississippi State, not because of the way I could shoot a basketball or how many points I scored, just because, dadgummit, I played hard.
Hard.
I mean, we're talking about that 20 years ago, about how hard a guy played.
Please don't remind me that it's been 20 years since Brandon Vincent. Every day
we're getting old, man.
I really do. Let's talk some baseball. obviously, it really does feel like just the other day we were in the stadium, parade coming in, championship trophy being hoisted, and now you've suffered through a couple of tough years in a row. New pitching coach coming in, Justin Parker. Have you had an opportunity to speak with him yet?
I've talked to him just for a brief minute, and here's the thing about Justin Parker. As I've talked to a lot of different guys, within the SEC, some outside the SEC, some guys in the Midwest, assistant coaches, head coaches, and everything I've talked to with these guys are like, hey, you're going to like this guy a lot. And, I think he's going to, from a mental standpoint, help our pitching staff out from such a great way. And so, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is a big time for us. It's no secret. I watched LSU the other night, and you think back, it's just been 2 years. I mean, it hasn't been long. And so, you want to get back to that point, of course. But I'm excited about Justin Parker, without doubt. And now you kind of wait and see, what's it going to look like in the next 2 months? Who are you going to bring in? Some of these freshmen, and what's the draft going to do with some of these freshmen? And so I think everybody understands you want to get better and you got to get better.
I probably value your and Charlie's opinion on Mississippi State and baseball in general more than most podcasters and radio. I don't want to blow your head up here, but in your opinion, do you feel like there needs to be an overhaul with this pitching staff, or are they a couple of pieces away and some developmental things for the pitching coach to kind of get this back on track? I mean, from what you saw last year, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first and foremost, there's a lot of people here that I know, and I've known them for a long time. And one is Charlie Smith, who used to be the head coach at Louisville High. Now he's the head coach at Winston Academy.
That when you sat down, just left.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay, thank goodness. Because what I was actually going to say is there's a lot of people in this room that understands I was nowhere near as good as I think I was.
Bart puts the headset on. Charlie's like, well, time to hit the old dusty trail. I'll see y'all later.
Well, see you later, Charlie. I guess he's going to listen to this later on. Shout out to he was great. He's a great baseball mind.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of going back to that point, I mean, I think of guys like Charlie Smith and guys, Bill Fryery, who used to coach a lot of Little League baseball here, Chris Keene, who's now out at Cannon. We learned a lot of baseball. We had some really good baseball people here that taught us baseball.
T.J. Jennings.
T.J. Jennings was a really good Bobby Bowman was my high school coach. And so Eddie Pierce, I saw Eddie Pierce the other day down at Noxapater. He had some really good coaches in this area. So – and what was your question?
I just want to talk for a minute.
I was trying to
He's trying to name drop over here.
I was trying to filibuster until I figured out what your question was. I'm
sorry. So what I was saying basically was, do you feel like this is fixable with the current roster? Does it need to be an overhaul? Are they a couple of pieces away? I mean, what have you kind of seen with what they got and where they need to go?
Well, and I think, you can look at LSU and say that, and you see what LSU had 2 months ago and how those guys performed. You think of Thatcher Hurd. When we played them, he was struggling a little bit. And so you see guys who have talent. I think we have some guys that are talented. So you kind of wonder about, from a mindset standpoint, what does that do? You think of Will Bednar. He did not have a good outing against Notre Dame a couple of years ago, but he got to Omaha, and it was almost like he got some confidence against the Texas team that Kendall Rogers tried to take and hit, but they couldn't hit. Yeah. But and so all of a sudden now I'm feeling better about myself. And so I think so much about pitching and about baseball is just the comfort level and having confidence. And I think more so when you look at our staff, I don't know if it requires just a complete overhaul, but I think it requires a different mindset when you get out there.
Yeah, because when you look at that last year, it was so disjointed. It kind of made its way through the whole pitching staff, and it's hard to really know, is it a talent issue or is it a philosophy issue that Mississippi State had? And it was so out of whack, it's hard to really lock in on what the overall problem was.
Well, and I think, too, when you start looking at from, guys who came every day to the ballpark, and that's an over coined term, too, that, guys that show up every day. Everybody shows up every day. But you look at a generational type player of a Tanner Allen, a generational type player of a Landon Sims, not just what they did on the field, but how they conducted themselves and how hard they worked off the field. You're going to be much better as a team if your best players are your hardest workers. Mm-hmm. And that's what you had. And so then all of a sudden those guys leave your program, and you ask yourself about leadership, not from a coaching staff standpoint, but just on the team. And this is not a knock at those guys. Sometimes guys are not familiar or know how to do that. And then so you have the bad year, and then last year all of a sudden you come out the first weekend and you got a big lead against VMI. You end up losing 14-13, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yep.
And so it was like we never could recapture that swagger. You got to, what's the old Bull Durham? You got to play this game with fear and arrogance. Yeah, you do. I mean, you have to play baseball with a lot of arrogance to be successful.
Yeah.
Are you on board with my Tanner Allen is the greatest player in Mississippi State baseball history take?
Let me, there's a lot of great.
He's thinking.
Hey, let me tell you, the thing about Tanner, and going back to that point, is he had that Will Clark type of mentality of I am going to beat you, and that's one of the great things about being around that 2012, 13, 14 group, and seeing, hey, Kendall Graveman would cut your throat if he walked between the lines and then pray for you when he cut it. And I mean, that was just one of those guys.
Yeah, but that throw behind the LSU hitter, that was just slipped. I think.
No, but you have guys
that was an accident.
You have some guys that are just wired differently.
Yeah.
That it's like me and my brother. If I play you in ping pong, Mr. Hey Dad, and you're not any good at ping pong,
I'm not.
Whatever. I want to beat you as bad as I can beat you.
Because I appreciate that though.
No, because we're close. It's almost like when I step out there, I want to be a nice guy, but dadgum, I'm about to beat you as bad as I can beat you. Guys like that in today's world, used to that was the norm, and now that's the exception.
Well, and the thing about Tanner was he could separate that arrogance, as you said, and also the respect for the game, knowing this game's going to come back around and I'm going to lose. I'm going to go 0-4 one day. I've got to be able to maintain that. But he did come to the ballpark every day with that mentality.
Yeah.
But I think that's the key is you can't go out there and disrespect the game and be that kind of arrogant. I think you do have to have a mixture of the two.
Oh yeah, I mean we've all seen some antics from some of these other teams. That's not arrogance. That's just that's Mickey Mouse is what that is. So
I wonder who you're talking about. One of the great
do they
things
wear
about
orange?
One of the great no, don't get him in trouble. One of the great things about your job is you get to know these guys, and you've been able to keep great relationships with all of the Bulldogs who have gone on to the major leagues. I know you mentioned Graveman and Hunter Renfro and those guys. Is there one road trip in particular you've been to see one of these guys where you're like it stood out for you?
Well, it was a couple of weeks ago, and I've had some good trips and I saw Woody and I saw Kendall pitch against Mitch Moreland out in Texas, and but a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago we went to Chicago and to see Kendall pitching to Hunter. Actually saw him pitch against Hunter. And seeing those guys before the game, and going back to the point of those guys are so self-driven, but before the game we're talking about the best fishing spots in Major League Baseball, And so it was, of course, Marcus Timms, who is from here. I grew up with Marcus. He's been out to Lake Tiak-O'Khata many times when we were kids, and he grew up here with the Louisville High School, and he's the hitting coach for the Angels. And getting to see him and Sims, getting in touch with Mike Trout, so the whole thing was just really kind of funny to see. Woody, to me, Brandon Woodruff, I went to a game a couple years ago in Pittsburgh, and Brandon Woodruff is just old Brandon from Wheeler, and he comes out of the dugout, and a ton of Brewers fans are there. We're in Pittsburgh, and it's almost like, oh man, Brandon Woodruff, and I'm sitting there going, this is so funny, man, just to see these guys, because they're really good guys to be around. So that's what's been the coolest part is the relationships, and and even some of these guys that didn't make it to the big leagues that you thought could, that text and during ball games, we're broadcasting ball games, Charlie and I mean we're getting texts from a lot of former players, and some good, some bad, So anyway, that's what's pretty cool, man. Is this baseball program for a long time? I think one of the reasons it's different here than in other places is because Coach Polk really did a great job of making sure those guys kept in touch and stay close with each other. And I think a lot of that started with him and just kind of the relationships that he built as a program, and still to this day. You could have played for him or not played for him, but he made sure everybody stayed close.
One last thing. You like fried catfish?
So here's the thing. 93% of the U.S. farm-raised catfish is in Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. And I would venture to say, without doubt, that the best tasting catfish comes from the state of Mississippi.
100%.
And talking, you guys are going to talk to Wendell Giesbrecht in a minute. I mean, our family, our family's known the Giesbrecht family for a long time. And when Brent and all those people over in Noxubee County, those are people that we know. Hey, I'm excited to be at Lake Tiak-O'Khata, to be honest with you. I learned how to swim right down here on this dock when I was 6 years old. I took swimming lessons out here. So I learned how to swim here. We used to, you used to could ski out here. Hey, they've got the best strawberry pie you can possibly want to eat.
Why are you doing
I've
this?
already made my case for that. I think this is the best pie in the state.
It is.
I like pie.
It's got
I do
great,
like pie.
great strawberry pie. And so, but the thing is when they put it on a buffet, it's like a real slight, small piece. Okay, and
That's why it's a buffet. You can get 3-4 pieces.
So I said something to Steve one time, and I was like, "Hey, man, bring me the whole pie. I want to cut my own piece." And he was like, "Bart, let me tell you now, 3 pieces don't come with a buffet now."
You got to sweet talk Miss Cheryl to get a big piece.
And that's what's
That's
so
the
cool.
key.
We moved back down here a few years ago, and to see Miss Cheryl, to see Lennon, and Luke now is I guess 3 or 4 generations with Lake Tiak-O'Khata, and I mean these are people that I grew up with, and so it's so cool that you guys are coming down here. We've known about this. We got you down on our territory, Mr. Hey Dad.
That's right.
I mean, this is a cool place. I appreciate you guys inviting me over.
Yeah,
right.
man.
Bart
We
Gregory?
knew you would enjoy coming down here and getting
Yeah.
some lunch.
Oh man, yeah, that's engorge myself on the buffet.
Has a chance to politic too.
Yeah.
Bart is running for circuit clerk of Winston County.
Well, you gonna give me my stump speech?
No, why not?
We'll do that later.
Bart Gregory, Mississippi
Which
State.
which side of the
Bulldog
aisle are you,
Yeah.
Bart? Let's go ahead and get
Let's
into that
get
if
it
you
all
guys
out
don't
there.
mind.
Bart, one last thing. We'll get you a shirt with a better logo on it. Don't worry about that.
Look how huge that logo
Look at that
is.
thing. It's the size of a small child's head.
You guys, I live the 3-stripe life.
Bart Gregory.
Mr. Corporation over here.
Thanks so much. man.
Appreciate you.
We are here in beautiful Louisville, Mississippi, Lake Tiak-O'Khata. Robbie couldn't stop. He can't stop beaming. He is just like the happiest little camper over there. I love it though, because you don't normally see him happy. This man's always got a smile on his face.
That's not true.
It is
Food
so true.
makes me really happy.
It is so true.
Food makes me happy.
It does.
Catfish makes me really happy.
I got you on that. So we got Wendell Giesbrecht here. He is from Superior Catfish. Fish procurement was the official title you were given. I don't have a watch on, but about 5 minutes ago, you didn't have an official. I got you an official title.
Thank you very
I think
much.
that should come with a raise. I'll be totally
think
honest
so.
with you.
I think so.
So, all right, take us. We saw you at work when we toured the plant, but I want you to take our listeners through what a day at work is like for you.
Well,
Because if I just tell people, oh yeah, he eats catfish all day,
they
they're
don't,
going to have a much different picture in their head of what it is you actually do.
they don't understand.
They don't
it.
understand. So go
And
ahead.
that don't even scratch the surface, I
No,
don't
it
think,
does
of what he
not.
does.
It does not.
I hear you. Well, what my primary job is to make sure Brent and Pam have something good to sell,
That's a good start.
and so we have hundreds of ponds in Noxubee County, and we got to make sure that the pond we're going to harvest tastes right. We don't want any algae, any mud, no contamination, no medicated feed. And so we got to have all these samples coming in, and we got to double check them. And the way they do that, they put a fillet on a paper plate, stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds or a minute, and then just knock yourself out.
So
With no seasoning, no breading.
no seasoning, no hot sauce, not even salt and pepper.
No
Just-
biscuits, no grits, no coleslaw, nothing.
So I mean, like when they first described, all right, we're going to the catfish tasting room. I thought we were about to walk in this room with all these fryers,
Right.
And I was gonna be like, this is the greatest job in the
You were
world.
disappointed, weren't you?
That might be. I don't want to say disappointed because that says a negative word, but I was surprised.
So
I
your
was
expectations weren't as high as they weren't met like you thought they were going to be.
Well, they were met by the quality of the fish. I'll say that. I know the Superior Catfish is the best around, but yeah, when I saw you guys just pulling that fish out of the microwave and eating it, I was just like, no, man. I don't. I wanted your job before I walked in the door,
And
and
it's-
then when I walked out, I was like, he's good.
And we just take a forkful,
Yeah,
stick it in your mouth.
it's like it's
And you
a
don't even
tasting.
eat it.
Yeah. It's,
you just-
if you think about a wine tasting, and they put the wine in their mouth and they swirl it around and then they go in the bucket with it. Same thing.
That's right. That's
So-
right. So it's really a tough job.
Yeah, and two, I think that you've been a producer too. I mean, you've had your own catfish ponds, and you've been a part of that process too. I mean, take us through that.
Well, you buy these little fingerlings, We call them baby fish.
They're about
They're about that big,
they're
right
about
there.
that size. Yeah.
And you put them in your pond, you never see them again. You hope, and then you start feeding them, and you hope they get big enough to sell.
And when you're going through the tasting, you mentioned something to us about how important that is to make sure you get Pam and Brent the right fish that they're putting out on the shelves and they're putting out in restaurants and things like that.
We need the right size too. They want the
Right.
right size.
So, what are you getting from these farmers? What kind of fish is Superior getting?
Well, we're getting on the sample or on the harvest.
Well, both.
Well, on the sample, we get whatever they catch on the end of the hook.
Yeah, but I mean, what the type of fish? I mean, the quality of fish. What are you getting from those guys?
Well, it's top quality. It's these farmers are all small farmers. They have very little hired help. They have their kids, their family-owned farms, and Superior is owned by a lot of these farmers. And because back when the catfish business was started, the farms were too small. We couldn't get any other processing plant to come get our fish, so we had to start our own.
Let me ask you this. If you get a bad piece of catfish, you know it, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's just, it's quick. But how subtle can you be? I mean, how little difference can there be sometimes where you're like, that's just not quite right?
Well, that's, we have 3 or 4 people, and taste is subjective. And so it gets to be a challenge sometime. Will this work or will it won't? And sometimes you just have to go with your gut feeling.
Sounds like, we talk about your gut feeling. I mean, you're eating catfish all day, so your gut. You talk about trusting your gut. You're really legitimately and literally are doing that. Just one last question. You've been with Superior for a long time, and we've talked at every stop about the way it's sort of the family atmosphere at that company. Is that something you feel even in the tasting room with all of the people you work with?
Right. It just, everybody feels like they're just out here to put a good product out, and if it's not good enough, I'm like, come on, ladies. We need to run this fish, and they say, it's just not good.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is.
You got to listen to them. Wendell Giesbrecht, appreciate your time.
Thank you very
Superior
much.
Catfish,
Thank you very
great
much.
stop. And if your catfish isn't right, don't blame him because he wasn't his fault.
Call
Where's
somebody,
Pam? It's her
call
fault.
somebody else.
We'll get Pam on that. So
Blame somebody else.
blame somebody else. Thanks, Brett. Thanks for that, Wendell.
Yes, sir.
If you're watching us on YouTube, on the SuperTalk YouTube channel, and you're wondering, hey, they got an interview with Jordan Westberg. It's not him, but I promise you I was thinking the exact same thing. This is Luke White. He is the owner. He is the proprietor of this fine establishment. We're trying to get it called the Luke Field Lounge, but right now we're just calling it Lake Tiak-O'Khata.
I think today that works great.
I think we're going to go
We
with that.
were able to pull Luke away. He's out here getting people's
This is a
drinks
man of the people.
refilled. It's really wild.
He was actually unlike some people here. There's Robbie Copeland's over there. He's actually working while we're doing this. And first off, this is going to be the most difficult interview I've ever done because look at this plate of food in front of me. This is the Catfish Orleans.
That's
And
correct.
I want you to walk me through what I'm going to eat very soon.
So we have a pan-fried Superior catfish, of course, with cream sauce with 2 grilled shrimp on top over some cheese grits here, and then our famous green beans here on the left.
Famous green beans.
Yeah,
I didn't get
absolutely.
any green beans, I noticed.
Well, Robbie said
we can share.
Robbie said he's
I
gonna
want.
share
I
with
want
you.
some grits.
I just tell him this
Absolutely.
this is what makes it healthy, right there.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, we had
that's
to have a
salad
little green.
at that point.
Yeah, this is salad basically.
my mouth.
I just want to tell you.
My mouth's filling up right now.
Yeah,
I'm really.
there's some saliva issues.
Yes.
I just want to tell you, I've been trying to lose weight. And by the way,
Yep.
every restaurant on this tour is thankful that I am trying to lose weight because if I was just going full bore, y'all would lose a lot of money bringing us in here. But I had a little milestone today. I was under a certain goal.
Right.
I deserve this.
It's a cheat meal.
Absolutely.
I deserve this.
This
We're on vacation.
This is
It's a lake.
vacation.
We're at a lake. It's a
This
we're
is
on
healthy. We
vacation.
got green stuff. This
Yeah.
is pan fried. We're good.
So this is one of the best kept secrets in Mississippi, in my opinion. There's people who, you want to have a nice day, kind of at the beach, you want to be on the water. I don't think enough people know, here in the Golden Triangle area especially, about this place. Because it should be, a line out the door.
Right.
It's such a great place.
Right. We are kind of a hidden gem here in Mississippi. You kind of get a beach, but not without driving the 4.5, 5 hours down to the Gulf Coast. But yeah, we're trying to get our name out, and you guys are helping us do that. So serve great catfish and have an all-day blast. And after this catfish, we're gonna go for a little walk around the nature trail and burn off some catfish and burn some calories.
No, nobody approved
Nobody's
that with me.
Okay, all right.
I
Sorry.
already walked
Wrong
today.
memo.
I got my
Nobody
miles
told us
in
about
earlier.
this, Luke.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm getting my steps in, but that's enough. I'm good. The only other steps I'm taking today are to that buffet over there.
Right. Absolutely.
Luke, I've been coming here my whole life. You know that. Even when I didn't live in Louisville, I was coming here. And in summertime, I mean, we're looking out over here. You got people out here swimming. This was the place to come during the summer to swim, go down the slide, and all that stuff. Sunday buffet was incredible. But tell us a little history about Lake Tiak-O'Khata that people might not know. I mean, this place has been here for a long, long time, and it's a tradition-rich area too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the dam.
You can't say that word.
My bad. My
the
bad.
actual-
My mom's not here. We're good.
It's an actual
Yeah.
dam. I'm sorry.
I thought it was only 7 words. I don't know. Yeah, so the dam was built in 1954 by my great-grandma. So I'm 4th generation here at Lake Tiak-O'Khata. And the lake was filled in after a couple of years, and then a burger shack, and then a smaller restaurant, then a bigger restaurant, and now it's grown into what we have today, which is 74 motel rooms, 8 cabins, 30 RV spots, a full-service restaurant. Hosts lots of family reunions, 4 or 5 a week, church groups, dinner night out on the town, and and Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah, we've
shows.
had our proms have been
At the
here.
absolute bottom of the list.
No, that's the pinnacle. Yeah, this is the greatest.
Me and Luke had proms here. We
Absolutely.
had high school dances. I had one of my sisters had a wedding rehearsal dinner here.
The statute of limitations is over, but I heard there were some
Yeah.
shenanigans
Yeah.
over at that house over there.
There were
Luke's
some
house-
shenanigans.
I thought
Luke's
that's why
house is
we're-
over there in the background. And he lived right here on the lake. And Robbie apparently was involved in some high school hijinks back in the day.
Yeah.
We have this thing at Winston Academy called the Junior Senior War. I'm sure people have a lot of these around high schools. And so the juniors and the seniors would go to each other's houses and roll the house. We went to Luke's one night. I don't know if his parents know that or not.
I think we were
was
out
just
of
driving.
town.
I didn't.
They
I
know
didn't
now?
do anything.
Yeah, I think we were out of town. I think you got us at a
With-
pretty weak moment.
Ooh,
so,
that's
yeah,
rough. You
I
come
know.
We
home
jumped
to
in the
that.
dark.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
rough to come home
Wasn't
to.
very stealth.
I don't assume there's any superior catfish in the lake, but there are some here on the plate.
There are. I think we tried to grow our own catfish, and we it didn't work
Yeah,
out.
it's probably
so-
just better to call superior. and be done with it.
Exactly.
Tell us about your relationship with them.
Yeah, so we used to buy from quite a few different catfish sources, throughout Mississippi, and one catfish just kind of was superior to the rest. It seemed
No pun
like.
intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. And then, so about 2.5 years ago, we just started buying strictly superior catfish. Comes in very consistent size and taste and everything. So it's really good quality, and it's probably the closest farm to Lake Tiak-O'Khata. So all important things here.
Today, the catfish is on the buffet. Too,
Absolutely.
correct? Is that every Thursday, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, we switch it up.
You switch it up.
Yeah, we
So I
switch
need
it
to
up.
call ahead of time.
Call
if
ahead
you're
of time
telling me.
or check
Luke,
out-
I need to know is this a catfish?
Yeah, or check out our Facebook page. Lake
And the
Tiak-O'Khata.
buffet is incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check out the buffet.
Yeah.
One thing I remember when I was a kid is every day the buffet would be on 107.1.
Right.
Miss Ira would come on there
Ira.
and say, "This is Miss Ira."
Yeah.
Today we got fried chicken, we got green beans, we got black-eyed peas, we got a salad, we got a roll, and assorted dessert.
Yeah.
And that's the
Assorted
menu today
desserts.
at
Are there-
Lake Tiak-O'Khata.
Are there assorted desserts today?
Oh boy,
are. There
there
are.
assorted?
Yeah.
Can we get some pie?
Yeah, absolutely. We can get some pie. So we have 4 cream
Did
pies.
he just say pie?
Yeah, I think so.
I like pie. All
Yeah.
right.
Their pie is the best.
It is
by the
really
way.
good.
Yep.
We also have banana pudding out there today.
Well,
too.
that's not.
He is
I'm
not a
worried about
banana
that
pudding
now.
guy.
Okay, my bad.
Ixnay
my bad.
on the banana pudding.
You have to be careful with this guy. His food takes are very iffy.
I can see that.
And the banana pudding thing
They're
has
not-
put our
I just don't like
relationship in
bananas.
stress.
Yeah.
They're mushy. They just don't work
Well,
for me.
yeah.
You know? If you just want to put me some nice vanilla pudding, a little cool whip
Yeah.
on the top of
yeah.
that.
Cool
you know?
hip. Yeah.
He doesn't deserve it.
knows the reference.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows the reference.
We also have some chocolate soft serve up there too.
They do.
See,
Yeah,
that's
so
dangerous.
We do have assorted desserts.
Assorted
All right, so I'm gonna check it all out. So, one last thing here, if people want to find out more information, you said the Facebook page.
Yeah.
But if they want to find out more about this great place, they want to
Yeah.
stay here, they want to bring the family here, what should they do?
Yeah, so go to our webpage at ltok.com. Check us out on Facebook. Our Instagram following's getting higher. So, yeah.
Very
just check us
smart.
out right south of Louisville, right off of Highway 15 and Highway 25.
Very smart not to make people spell out Tiak-O'Khata
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
website.
Yeah,
there.
just
It gets
put it
iffy.
close. Put it close.
just
and-
getting it figured out.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you, Luke, for having us.
Absolutely.
This
Thank
place
y'all.
this place means so much to me, and it's the people here. I mean, the food's incredible, the atmosphere's great. The people here is really what sets y'all apart. you'll see Luke every single time you come in here. I saw his dad when I was a kid, his mom, Miss Cheryl. I mean, it's really a family atmosphere, and they're here to serve you, and the food's incredible.
You got to get poor Miss Cheryl a little extra money today.
Absolutely.
She was not planning on having to put dishes down 3-4 times for the camera.
And
She's
And
working
listen,
hard.
when I was a kid, my grandmother would come here. She was a big Nat King Cole fan. Mr. Lennon would come down and sing her some Nat King Cole.
Absolutely. And Lennon's here today.
He might sing you a song.
Absolutely.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Luke White, Lake Tiak-O'Khata, thanks so much. We
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you all.
We're wrapping up things here at Lake Tiak-O'Khata. I want to say something here. Everybody's come over to Robbie. Robbie, you've done such a great job, Robbie. Fantastic work, Robbie. I'm just sitting over here like a pile of mashed potatoes. Nobody's even looking at me.
I think people are surprised that I've got cameras around me and stuff because
I think
I
they're
was
surprised
such
you're
a
not in
loser in
jail.
high school.
I think they're surprised you not in Parchment. From
That
the
too.
way I'm looking at these people. So
Wow, we can't believe you're not in prison right now.
You're still alive.
Congratulations.
Great job. One thing for sure, I need to tell Brent. We got to. I don't know who sells superior catfish in Vicksburg. We're doing a Vicksburg show because I want.
Gonna have to.
I want this kind of adulation.
We're going to have to do it in the St. Al gym. We'll
Now,
just set up a bunch of tables.
I don't know, man. When I was in high school, I didn't have air conditioning. I don't know if it does now or not.
Yeah, mine was the same way.
I don't want any part of that. In the
I
summer.
went to mine for graduation. My niece graduated a couple months ago, and graduation used to be dreaded among everyone that went to the
no
academy
AC.
because there's no AC, and
Yeah.
it was late May. It was 100 degrees. I was cold the other day.
There you go.
Air conditioning in there.
Catholic school, we had the graduation at the church. So,
There you go.
yeah, so made it work. It was all. The Lord likes his air conditioning. You know,
Yeah, you're right.
We keep it cold in the Catholic
You're
church
right.
there. All right. So we got one more stop to make on this leg of the Spear Catfish Tour. You're going to get one of the rarest things you can possibly imagine. That is a Saturday Thunder and Lightning. We will be in Algoma, Mississippi at Seafood Junction on Saturday, July the 15th. We're taking next week off. Our production crew is getting a little well-deserved break. And we will be back on Saturday, July 15th, and that will be for dinner at the Seafood Junction.
And they better have that buffet
They
stocked.
better be stocked. I'm gonna show up ready. I'm gonna
Yes.
show up ready to play.
We're coming to do work.
What Bart Gregory said: show up at the stadium every day. I'm gonna show up at the Seafood Junction.
Yeah, it's
ready to work.
It's game time.
All right, so that'll be July 15th. Don't miss that. If you're in that area, our plans. I'm not gonna tell you who we've got just yet, but we were hopeful. We've got a couple of Bulldog legends who are gonna be joining us for that particular stop. So we'll do that on July 15th. We may have some more stops planned for you. It just depends on whether or not anybody wants to, do any more work with us. If we've done a good enough job.
Hey, the way they're getting fed the last few weeks.
I think that's a good point. They're just like, look, we're just show up and they're just putting food on the plate.
Man.
Why would we not keep coming? All right, we'll do that. Hopefully, hopefully we'll make that happen. All right. Until then, Robbie and I'll be back on Monday. We may have to play the Cruton song on our Monday show. There's a lot of smoke about Mississippi State being able to pull in a recruit, a big time recruit this weekend. We'll see if that happens. Plus, we got plenty of football talk next week. Our opponent preview is the Auburn Tigers. Our SEC preview, I think you said South Carolina, and then somebody tweeted at us and said we've already done South Carolina. We'll figure it out.
I hope you're keeping up with this
I was,
because I'm not.
and then I didn't. And then I deleted something, and now I'm just trying
Well.
to make it go as we go.
I'm putting all this on you.
That's fine. I can live with that. All right. Guys, have a great weekend. Back with you on Monday. For Robbie Falk, I'm Brian Haydad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Another incredible stop here on the Catfish Tour brought to you by Superior Catfish. I know you had a great time being home here in Louisville, Mississippi.
Restaurants in Mississippi. The people here are incredible. Great atmosphere. The Catfish Orleans was outstanding.
Yes, it was.
We had a heck of
So, we've got one more stop to make. This is the first leg of the tour. We might have a couple more coming our way, but we're going to take a week off, and then we're going to be back for that rarest of birds, a Saturday Thunder and Lightning. July 15th will be in Algoma, Mississippi at Seafood Junction. That's a buffet. Oh. You need to just go ahead and start frying on it now, brother, because we're coming to see you. Seafood Junction, Algoma, Mississippi for dinner on Saturday, July 15th. So be there for dinner. Come say hello. We're going to have a couple of Bulldogs there to talk with us. Going to be a lot of fun. One more stop on the Summer Catfish Tour here, presented by Spear Catfish.